Hi everyone, I'm Fatimah Benta Gimse, a screenwriter and producer, and you're listening to Sceneful Sundays.
Did Nigeria break your spirit?
Listen, Twitter is not that reliable, but it's the voice of the people sometimes. You know you're a good doctor if people don't keep dying.
A podcast that highlights storytellers and filmmakers in Nollywood.
Because I don't want anybody to drag me if you see me doing another Lolaro. Just now I was broke.
I go to audition for a project and it's full of these guys from Big Brother. I'm like, I went to drama school now. I have masters in acting now.
Do you have 1 million followers?
Yeah, we talk about everything from career ups and downs to personal gist and all the juicy things that go into the world of storytelling as we know it.
Hi.
You know, when they mention your name, earlier today I was thinking, like, how many times did they call her Genevieve on set?
A lot.
Does
Countless.
it get annoying?
No. It doesn't. I just kind of like say, "Oh, Genoveva," and then
So
we
you're
and then we
always
spend
correcting.
and then we spend like 2 to 3 seconds going Genoveva, and then sometimes if they don't get it, I'm just say Jen. Just let's do Jen. Yeah.
But do you intend keeping it as Genoveva?
Yeah, definitely. I think like my friends call me Jen, so yeah. You know, I used to have this rule that, okay, if you can't pronounce the entire thing, don't call me Jen. Well, you know, I think I was a bit young. It's a bit young, yeah.
Okay, so now our own type of icebreaker.
Okay.
I hope that worked.
No, it worked.
Okay.
It's fine.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I feel the need to stress that this is our first time physically talking, even though we've worked on the film together.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, but anyway.
No.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for honoring my invitation.
No, thank you. Like, I feel like I'm usually inspired by women, especially young women in Nigeria. So like, you're one of the people that I'm always like, I'm like to be like an amazing writer and create content that, you know, that is just like showing every single day. And it's just like, it's so nice. It's so nice. I'm definitely inspired by you, Fatima, honestly.
I'm smiling too much. I'm supposed to compliment you back because I'm also a fan.
No. Oh, no, please, it's fine.
But
It's fine.
anyway,
It's
it's
good
about
energy.
you. It's
Okay.
about you right now. How's your year going? How's 2021?
2021 is the only way I can describe it is just blessed. Because I would just, and not necessarily because of what's going on or like whether there's work or not. It's just the mindset that I came into this year with. I think that's what it is.
So does that mean last year was like, because it means you had to get rid of something to get into this new mindset?
Definitely. 2020, like, I mean, it kicked off good. I wrapped a set that I really, you know, I played lead in this film. And I was like, yes, I'm loving it. And then the pandemic happened. I mean, we were able to finish, but probably not ADR, but we were able to finish. But, you know, it just felt like mundane. Being at home really, really affected me, and not having to travel. I had plans to like visit family, and then not having to travel and do all of that. And then a bunch of other things like acne came into it.
Yeah, I saw the post of your acne journey on Instagram.
Yeah. And then, it just pretty much like smashed up my confidence, and, you know, I became pretty much more of a loner, but honestly, way better. Way better this year.
That's okay. We're all getting through it.
True.
So you're known to English. I'm
English.
sorry. English. I feel every episode I apologize for my English, but you guys take it like that. Okay, you are known as an actor. That's what I'm trying to say. You're known as an actor. And for me, I won't lie, I stumbled upon you. Like the first time I saw High on stage, that was a play, and I saw it, and of course, I thought you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard of a Genoveva, and I was just like, okay, where is this one from? So now my question is like, let's talk about your acting journey.
Yeah.
Because clearly, obviously, the accent gives it away and everything. Like, why Nollywood?
Okay, I just fell in love with like Nollywood, to be honest. I fell in love with like films by Africans, films by Nigerians.
Okay.
I fell in love with the fact that people were creating content, which was, you know, a lot more fruitful and quite a lot more basically in terms of like, you know, seeing black faces on screen and all of that stuff. And that was what was different to working in the UK. because in the UK, what you had was like diversity issues,
quote
unquote diversity issues, and if you weren't having diversity issues, you were getting a lot of stereotypes being written about being Black British, and that was quite off-putting. And having experienced it myself with audition processes and trying to be in the industry, it made more sense to me to come back to Nigeria and create a good show reel. And then, what happened after that was just like I ended up staying more than I expected to.
I feel like this is like the fourth person I've interviewed that's like, I just came here and the next thing I'm staying here.
Yeah, basically.
Why that? Always.
I think it was just the work. Like the more you...
So you just showed up without a plan?
I showed up with like 3 plans, like to get headshots, to write a play and perform it, and then 3 was to create a show reel. So like...
Okay, wait, pause. Let's take like a step back. Did you study acting or...
Okay, so
was it always the plan to be an actor, or you just like discovered your love for acting?
Okay, I discovered my love for acting in high school, and then I went to Identity School of Acting. So this is like where John Boyega, Letitia Wright, Damson Idris.
Oh, Demi Banwo.
Yeah, Demi Banwo, yeah. All of these guys. I worked with Demi actually.
You see when you mentioned Damson Idris, I just tried to like act cool. But anyway, that's another conversation.
That is your And okay, do you know what's worse?
What?
I attended an audition and I trained with him. With Damson Idris. Yeah.
Fine,
that's
okay. Moving on. Let's focus on what we're here to do.
Oh man. So yeah, after training, I fell in love with it, and then but I was still very much aware that I was an immigrant, and I didn't think acting was a career choice for me at the time. So I went into law. I studied law in University of Surrey. Woohoo!
Wow, nice.
And but first year of university, I thought, this course is okay, but it's not what I love doing. And one of my friends was like, oh, why don't you think about acting? You used to love acting, And then I just sort of looked for an audition, found one that Osio Keje posted. I know, and then I did that audition, and then...
Audition here or there?
Yeah, no, it was a self-tape. I did a self-tape, sent it over, and then the producer reached out saying, do you want to... Yeah, I think I'm considering you for this role. Can you travel? I said yes, and then came back here, shot with Stan and Chimezie Imo.
That was your first project?
First project. It was a series. Nice. I know.
What's it called?
Origin.
Oh, okay.
Origin. Unfortunately, Origin didn't get released. But
one of those.
I know, it's one of those ones. But yeah, we shot it in Enugu, and everything great that could have happened on that series happened. Everything terrible that could have happened.
Okay, so sorry. You were in first year uni, right? How did your parents react to you leaving all the way to Enugu? You didn't even come to Lagos, it's Enugu straight.
Girl, okay, so first off, I was born in Enugu, so I was familiar with the place. But secondly, and most importantly, how did my parents react to that?
Yes.
I was still in first year.
Yes.
Hey, God, my parents were like, I said it was literally like it could have been an intervention, but I literally called my auntie, look, I've been cast for this thing. Help me. Help your girl. Help your girl, because I really want to do this thing. It's only 1 month. And see, it's only 1 month.
Okay.
Please just talk to my parents like that. Oh, I'm going to be gone for 1 month. But my friends got me. My friends got me in the course. Don't worry. I'm going to do, is it exam? Don't worry.
I didn't pay your friend's school fees.
Is it coursework? Don't worry. We'll do it. And it was just like, I don't know. I think I admire my parents so much for just taking that leap of faith with me. And that's one thing they've always done. And that's one thing I respect them for like, just understanding, that this is your child's dream, or child wants to do something and you fully support them. And yes, it's scary to do that.
Yeah, very.
But you respect their independence and you nurture that. And I think that's one thing I love them for. They agreed crazily. And
wow.
Yeah, we did it.
That's so sweet. So you said the experience, you're talking about the good and the bad. You're already making faces. Do you want to get into it?
The good. Okay, the good is like when you get to work, do really great work. I think that's the good, when you like work with like amazing people and there's like this free flow of all this communication, or you get a script and you love the character and you just want to sink your teeth into it, and regardless of whatever's going on in your life, you put that character first. I think that's the good. The bad is noticing things with it. I think when you first get in here, you're like, yeah, oh my god, I just want to, please, I'm really good at my job.
Yeah,
cast
you
me.
come with the passion and
Because cast me, I'm really good with this job. And then you realize that things are a bit interesting with the industry.
Interesting is one way to put it.
Yes. If it's not colorism, it's the idea that
I'm so happy you're mentioning colorism. I've been waiting for someone to bring it up because I didn't want to be so like forward.
Yeah.
But pause. I'm sorry. Can you expand on colorism in the industry?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's a very subconscious thing.
Yes.
I think for Nigeria, we love to believe, we love to think we're good. We love to think that.
But I don't. Do you really think it's subconscious though?
I think it's what I'm talking about is when you speak to people that 100% will say, oh, I support dark skin. Dark skin is beautiful to shoot. Dark skin, if you light it well, is beautiful, glistening, everything. When you see them cast, that's when it's different. That's when you see this light-skinned, beautiful girl with a nice wig, wearing heels. She walks into the room, and they're so keen on finding out about her. Her acting might be mediocre.
Yeah.
But they're so keen on like, what's your name? We've not seen you. You should come out more.
Are you really from here?
Yeah. And then that's when you see those values. And it's more like, oh, it's not that they don't think dark skin is beautiful. It's more that they're thinking, oh, this is my film. If I put inside it, you'll be.
Of course, you attract
the amount of people you attract, and that's what it is. It becomes business. And, dark skin becomes less marketable.
Yeah, apparently.
Problem. That's a problem. It's just, it's there. And when you think about the big stars that have, like, quote unquote, I'm using this word loosely, stars, you think they're light skinned. Like, the ones, they're light skinned. Unless you're RMD. But
because it's a very funny argument, because I know one day they were arguing about it online and people were, and to be fair, this is also a legit side of the argument that, you have people like Genoveva, Kit Henshaw, Iniedo, Mercy Johnson. They're not the actual fair ladies. But that is also valid. Then you also have the very obvious, like what you're talking about.
Yes.
So it's a very, I don't know how to say it. It's very weird.
It's really weird. It's really weird because I feel like it's an argument that just goes on forever.
Yes.
Because in every industry, it's the same thing. It's not just Nigeria. Yeah.
When I discovered colorism in Bollywood, I was shocked.
Oh man, that one is worse.
It's way worse.
It's way worse. And even in Asia, like the fact that it's not just like, oh, you're beautiful. You have to have gotten some surgical correction to become a star.
Yes.
So that's why films like what's that film? The one that won Oscars, the Asian one.
Slumdog Millionaire.
No. Parasite. Thank you. That's why films like Parasite is so important, so beautiful for the culture. That and Minari, because
I haven't seen Minari yet.
I love that film. Just because they didn't use typical faces.
No.
They didn't use the beautiful, Asian, Korean faces.
And it's sold.
It's sold.
The thing we fear here.
Yes. and again, they didn't do like the typical aspirational films.
Yes.
They did down and dirty. These guys live in a slum. They're struggling to, to get by. And then there's a purpose, and then there's this soul behind this film that you at the end of the day, you take something away from it, and it's like
yeah.
So yeah, it's one of the things that we deal with here, but there's more that we deal with. Can't come off the top of my head, can't really think of more, but yeah, think about it some more maybe.
Okay, so Origin was your first project.
Right. Yes, it was.
So when you went back to school, how did you feel? Like, okay, I've actually done. Okay, I say I like acting. Now I've done something. Not just any acting. Nollywood. Like, how did that feel?
I felt really accomplished. I
Big word.
Really I know. I felt really accomplished. That yeah. Technically, my first project was this UK Nigerian film that was shot in the UK, and I was cast as an extra.
Okay.
Again, it wasn't for young people. It wasn't like I was like maybe 16, 17. It wasn't for young people. So 30 plus or in this film, that was the demographic. So I was cast as an extra. I remember on the day of the shoot, I was bumped up from extra to like the bartender.
Okay.
And I was like, cool. I was like, oh yeah, your drink is £5, please. Thank you. Then I went back to cleaning. How many times
did you rehearse that line?
Mate. When I turned around, the camera is facing me, yeah. When I turned around, I turned away from the camera and I just kept going, okay, it's £5, please. It's £5. Like literally, mentally rehearsing this thing. Because it's always those
one lines that you think, I have it.
It's like you're shaking. You're like, this is my first time. But yeah, when I got back, I was like, yeah, I really liked working. I love this job and I definitely want to come back. So I spent a lot of time networking before I came back.
How did you network all the way from there here?
So yeah, again, I always advise. Now I advise people to like watch films. So I watched a lot of films, a lot of Nigerian content on Iroko. I know Iroko did a lot of content, and a lot of producers put their work on there.
Yeah.
So if I saw a film that I really liked, enjoyed, I'd message the producer. If I saw an actor I really enjoyed, I'd message the actor. I remember messaging Bimbo Ademoye when she had about 3,000 followers, and I was like, God, you're so funny. I was like, you're so good. Like I was like, she was so good. And Uzo Arokwe, I remember like
so
me and my best friend has the biggest crush on Uzo. Like, mates. Even Uzo knows my best friend. Like
he has no choice.
He has no choice. He literally had to send like a voice note or one video for her one time. I was like, yes, her birthday, please run this for me. And he did. So yeah, like I watched a lot of content and I praised the content where I could. So yeah, it was easier to network in that way. The goal again wasn't to like get the job, but it was like almost as if I was like creating this foundation for myself. So when I do get here, I do have people that I can speak to and communicate with about the industry and all that good stuff.
Okay, so when you were done with school, like when you finished studying law, what was next? Like, did you just say, okay, research done, assignment done, everything done, now Nollywood, here I come?
Mate, do you know, it was a bit like that, you know. Because I knew that as soon as I'd graduated, I'd come back.
So you didn't even bother using your degree at all?
No, law is great for those who are completely passionate about it and completely sold on it, and it's like the breath that they take, every breath that they take is law, you know. Me, I felt differently about it, so I felt like that acting was that for me. So yeah, when I the plan was, go to my friend's wedding in Tanzania, from Tanzania fly to Lagos, and that was it. I was here 1st of August 2018. The next day I was in an acting class. Yeah, an acting training session.
Where?
It was at Smart Media.
Okay.
In Surulere, I remember. Yeah, and I met some friends that I'm friends with now. Like, honestly, I met some girls that are like really good friends now. And they're doing really, really well in their careers. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
2018 was when you had your first. Was that your first theatre project?
Sorry, come again?
Like, High was in 2018. So
yes.
I'm asking, like, is that your first theatre project or like that was the first one here?
It was my second theatre project.
Okay. Here or in general?
Here.
Okay.
Theatre is big in the UK, so I did quite a bit of theatre. Like, if it was summer holidays, I knew a director, TD Moyo. She'd write some content and we'd perform it and we'd work it. have about 2 days performance. And yes, I loved working with her in that regard. So theatre wasn't new to me.
Okay.
So, and also the discipline of theatre wasn't new to me as well. So when I first got here, like I said, 3 things: wanted to do headshots, pictures, and and make sure I write my play. So I wrote a play called Home. It's a 1-woman play for 33 minutes, and it's just about identity, like not feeling good enough for the UK, not feeling good enough for Nigeria. And I performed that at Lagos Fringe.
Nice.
Thank you. And then after that, we did High. I auditioned for High. I remember getting there like very early. And I think that was when I met Ade as well.
Oh.
Yeah, because I knew Diana, which is her close friend, but then I met Ade at High, and it was just so great.
Let's talk about some of your projects.
Okay.
Like, walk us through your, let's say, highlights. Yes.
I'm across the board proud of everything, right? But what's been really, really exciting so far is Lizard.
The BAFTA nominated.
Yes, that was by Akinola Davis, Fatherland Media, and that was so exciting to film. It was the first time we were working with like international crew. We're working with an international crew, and unlike the films that we make here that lacks a lot of time.
Was it filmed here?
It was filmed here. Filmed somewhere in Oshodi.
Oh, okay.
I know. So I think it's because of the way this. Excuse me.
No worries.
I think it was because of the way the set was set up. So we shot in Oshodi, but like it was so great to shoot and really take time with one particular scene. And the director, he was so great in the way that he would give advice, have conversations, and I worked with young people as well.
Sorry, what year was it filmed?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019. I recall just working with like young people, and like I was out in the short film. I played Kafila, a young maid looking after the kids, for something that's set in the 60s. Right. Yeah. So, it was really, really good. It was really, really good. I had spent a lot of time with like young people, like literally like 6 to 7 year olds, 6 to 9 year olds. Yeah, I spent a lot.
How do you like on set?
They ask a lot of questions. Yes, and you just have to answer those questions. But it's more like communicating, just having constant conversations with young people. Sometimes it's nice. But yeah, as long as you keep them entertained, they're good. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm asking about the highlights of your like projects because I'm just clicking that you've been here from only 2018. I feel like you've been acting for a longer time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a to me it feels like it's been like I've spent too long here. I don't know. Pete, you think otherwise, but I feel like I've spent too long here, and I think it's just an actor's thing. Like you just kind of beat yourself up. You're like, I've not done this, I've not done this, I've not achieved this. Like, what's going on? Or you feel like you had a year where you slept, and the world was just moving, and
I think
you were like,
that last year for me. I'm not sure.
That was last year for me, for definite. So yeah, I did that, and then there was like Love is War. Love is War, which is the Omonioboli and Inkblot production. And I played, that was a film that I played alongside RMD. And I was like, what? That was like, what? I'm working with RMD, what? Like, God. And those, when I did that, I remember just people just, I remember just having conversations with people older than me, like, mentors or like people I respect in the industry, and they're like, oh, I really want to work with RMD. Yeah. And here I am doing that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I didn't even pray for that,
See, let me tell you, my first ever time on set was an RMD he was on set. That was the first time in my life I was on a set for anything.
Oh, wow.
And it kept feeling like, you're in a fever dream.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to wake me up.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Like you didn't ask for this thing. Like you've always wanted it, but you know that maybe in 2 years, like 3 years, I can't wait, but it just happens. Yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah, it was definitely surreal and like something that I was like, oh, God, is that you? Thank you, Jesus. I see you. Like, I appreciate this, Lord. So yeah, it was really great working with him, and he's such a cool person.
Yeah,
such a cool guy. Oh God, like, and Survivor's Guilt, which is on Iroko, Blameless, which is on Iroko, and now we have One Lagos Night coming
on
out.
Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
What was the date? I think this
29th. I know.
That's like next week. So I don't know if this. Well, by then, if you have not watched it, One Lagos Night, Abby.
29th of May.
On Netflix.
On Netflix. Cool. I'll invite you. I'm planning like a watch party.
Okay.
So that would be really, really good if I had my friends over and we just watched this film. And why I'm doing the watch party is because usually with actors and acting, you spend a lot of time self-doubting, self-sabotaging.
That's so cool, because that's like my next question about processes.
Okay, go on,
So,
ask me.
no, you're already in.
Yeah, so like you spend a lot of time beating yourself up, and when you get the wins, you often downplay it. You're like, nah, it's
not that deep. It's just one thing.
It's just that one thing.
Yeah.
And then you don't like celebrate it, and you don't allow people to experience joy of this thing that you do. So that's really why I really want to do a watch party.
I love that, celebrating your wins.
Yes, so
it's very important.
Good for mental health as well, because actors' mental health is. I'm gonna talk about that.
Please go in. You already started. See, I'm not going to stop you. Like we're not trying to be too formal here. Just go in. Let it flow.
So mental health in Nigeria, I think, for actors, really not something that we consider. It's not something that we protect as well. So, for example, it starts from like audition process. An actor could possibly audition, right? And said actor doesn't get any information about the job, whether they liked it or
they just air you.
Yeah, it's just the casting director just ghosts you. They don't message you. Oh, we thought your work was good, or reasons. I remember getting this like going towards this audition process and just having a good time auditioning, right? And then I just don't get the call, like I don't get the job, and people I know around me get the job. They're all like ecstatic about the job. So painful. They're all ecstatic about it, and then you're reaching out. Why didn't you get the job or something? I remember speaking to Ade. Like I love speaking to Ade about acting and stuff. Like I call her my coach, right?
She is a coach
because she's beautiful. Yeah, and she is a coach, and she's like so great at what she does. And I remember speaking to her. I was like, "Oh, I didn't get this job. Should I ask them why I didn't get the job?" And she was like, "Why do you want to know?"
Yeah, because even me, I'm already like,
she was like, "Why do you want to know? Don't ask that." And that's one thing. That's the audition process, and then it trickles down into like film, right? A lot of actors, we get this thing where we feel so insecure, and we're like babies. You need to like pat us on the back.
Actually, like babies.
Honestly, you need to pat us on the back and tell us that we're doing great. And it takes a lot of I don't know. You have to think about yourself as an actor. You have to think about what you're like as an actor. So it takes a lot of like self-evaluating to be like, oh, Jen, you're great. You don't need validating from anybody else. Right, because a lot of actors could film, maybe do a scene, and they're looking over to the director. Was that good?
And directors just like looking away, or just staring blankly.
And directors looking away, like, because some directors, they have their own process. They might never be satisfied with what you do, or they might just be like, and when they're not satisfied, they want you to do that. If it's up to them, you stay there and do that take like 50 times. Like,
well, I know I've seen a director be like, it's not good, but we'll work with it. And I'm like, do you want them to just like retake it? They're right here. You can work with it now.
Exactly. Again, I feel like, that whole question, like, oh, director, is it good? Was it good? Did you like it? Did you like it? It stems from, one, did you have a really Like, what was your relationship with that director? I feel like an actor's-director's relationship so important.
And I don't think this is not like being shady or anything, but I feel if it's a very good director, like an actor's director, you won't have to ask.
You won't have to ask. You know, you would have had those conversations in pre-production.
It starts looking like you're begging for validation. It's like, hi, like me.
It can get like that. It's like, yeah, you're begging for it. And it's like, if you don't communicate with the director prior to the set, prior to like conversations, or have conversations about what you want the character to look like. And again, some directors don't. I feel like in Nollywood, unfortunately, we do have very few trained directors. I feel like sometimes we have technical directors, but we don't have actors directors.
I think we have more technical directors.
We have more technical. It's
because for me, like for a long time, when I hear directors, I'm just like, oh my God, camera movement, all those big words that I don't want anything to do with.
Yeah.
So you meet the ones that actually care about like the actors.
The actors' health and like, how they're feeling. Are they in the room when when people are setting up and it's a crazy scene that you need to shoot? Please can you take the actor away? Or an actor does a take rather than say, oh, Genoveva, please, can you bring it down? Can you bring it down from across the room?
So dismissive.
You could maybe go to them and speak to them about it. My process is I love directors that call you by the character's name.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't know. I love because if I'm working as a character, I don't know. I just prefer that, and again, the conversation that I would have with the director would stipulate all of these things. Again,
it's funny because control. I know an actor that gets so angry when you call her by her character's name on set.
Really?
And I'm like, you have to, because on that period, they know you as that character.
Yes.
Like makeup, they're calling you as a character, and you just see the person just squeezing their face like, that's not my name. I'm like, we know that's not your name, but on this set, this is who you are.
Wow, I know it's great for process. It's great for like.
How does it help the process?
It helps because suddenly, if I had a backstory for the character, if I've built a life around this character, that my name reminds me of where I was, where I'm going, and what's going to happen. That's how I feel. That's how it helps me. So it's really interesting. I know people, obviously, people have their process. Everybody's process is different, but that's what I like.
I know this is a no, but just to be like clear, do you have the same process because you've done theater, web, TV, film?
Yes.
Do you have the same process for like the four big?
The four big? No. I don't know if it's an outright no. Because, the question whether theater is different to screen, I feel like they're both different. It's not theater is different, TV is different. I just feel like they're both acting. One is like the sun, one is like the moon.
They're not acting. It looks like you're doing the same thing.
One is like the sun, one is like the moon. Like theater is like sun, and acting and screen is moon. It's
Why
just
sun and moon.
So theater is like big. It's like in terms of like you just have to maybe project so that the person on the 200th seat hears you. Whereas when it's film, your reactions are it's called stillness in acting when you're like, they're quite still. They're not too big and enunciated and like huge, because the camera catches everything. Catches like everything.
I mean, again, not to be shady, but some people forget that.
But that's when you don't train. So there's like screen training, screen acting training. If you train for screen, you're more likely to give a screen performance. You're more likely to know things about yourself as an actor. I do this thing with my lip where it quivers. And then that's like a you thing, then you kind of like, you're more aware of like what you do and what you don't do.
So it's been 3 years here.
Don't loud it.
Why? That's good.
That is long.
No, it's not. Excuse me. Some of us 5.
But when you say it like that, I just think I haven't been back. Like I haven't visited home. Like I haven't seen my palo, like my living room, for like 3 years old, and that means, I've seen my parents because they've been back, they've visited, but I haven't like been in that environment with like my UK friends, and it's just wow. wahoo, basically.
But to be honest, 3 years is actually a good number for all you've been doing and what you're going to continue doing.
Yeah.
Do what? I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But anyway, my question is what are some of the best things about being a working actor in Hollywood? I always ask the opposites, but today I want to be positive. Let's talk about the good.
The good things. I think it's the people. Honestly, I think it's the people. Because you guys work so hard.
She said we guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, no. I'm being serious. People work hard in this country.
I think
we don't. No, there are things that you typically wouldn't have a problem. Like you wouldn't encounter as an issue in abroad if you're doing film abroad. Here we're dealing with so much. If it's not sun, it's
I feel the average crew person in Nigeria, like when they go abroad, they'll actually need maybe 6 months to adjust to a set abroad because they're constantly ready for disaster.
Yes.
Not in a bad way, but like they're just ready for anything. And they're just chill and we're wondering, PTSD.
Honestly, I think recently my friend, we just wrapped a pilot for a series, right? And she's from the UK, right? And she wanted to do this pilot for her web series. And she was just like, oh, typically there'll be it's so much. She was like, literally like, handled it well. But, it was clear that, it was different working here. The process is different. And, you wake up in the morning and you're about to film and then your DOP says, oh, I'm sick. And now you're looking at the crew members, everyone's looking at each other. And everyone's like rapidly like making phone calls, where, who can fill in for this. And we have those problems and they're unavoidable and you have to like solve the problem. I think if you're a crew member, your biggest asset is being a problem solver.
No, that's actually very, very, very true and important.
And that's what I love about the people.
Because the worst thing you can be on set is someone that's just pointing out problems and you're not giving. You want to throw people like you away because you're just wasting time.
Yes, you need people that are competent and are reliable and can do the job. That makes your life so much better, like that easier, so much easier. And that's a skill that I learned here. That's a skill that I learned here that's important to be useful. And that's what I love about the people. Like people teach me every day. You guys, like Nigerians in Nigeria. I'm now a Nigerian in Nigeria, by the way.
Exactly.
Hello. But I've just learned that, you just kind of have to learn to apply yourself. And again, the fact that you people, we have just ideas and we just go, I'm going to try and see this idea through. Like, look at you with Sceneful. Yeah, look at you with Sceneful. So we just kind of go for it.
Yeah, that's actually true. Because I think the first go for it thing I did was our short film.
Yeah. Do you remember? Like, I think it was Ade. Ade was like, oh my gosh, Fatimah likes killing Eve. I think she'd be good. You guys would be good to have
she just
conversation.
Messaged me, like, you guys should talk. You guys should talk. I was like, what's your own?
I was like, what's my? I love killing Eve. Let me find somebody that likes killing Eve. So I reached out to you, and honestly, I feel like, why am I angry?
Yes, that's our short film.
That is our short film. That is, it's traveling places. By the way, Toronto.
Yeah, hi.
Toronto International Nollywood Festival. Please, it's not hazy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Congrats
on that.
Too. Well done.
Thank you. But that saved me. I know I didn't tell you this.
How?
No,
that sounds so big.
Remember I told you I had a really bad year.
Okay. Yes.
So when you're not in a bad place and someone goes, oh yeah, I think you'd be really good for a character, you're like, me? You see me?
And I was so scared because the first time I saw you were playing a teenager.
Yeah.
So when Ine mentioned the name, I was like, "Hi, God, this actor will be like, why?" Because I wanted to ask if they're always typecasting you.
I haven't felt that of recent, but yes, like of course, like when I first got here, it's like I was a child, but if it's a teenager or like a young person, give her some depth, let her be going through some stuff because, naturally people go through some stuff. It can't just be like, oh, she's filling up a seat. She has to be a character on her own. And I think that, it doesn't really matter if the character has depth, you go for it.
Yeah, because that was actually a fear, but I'm really glad it worked.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad it worked as well. And yeah. Thank you for considering me.
Thank you. Okay, so we're still on like positivity. We're sticking to positivity. Because I was like, okay, my next question is like this is always very, very generalized, but then again, you answer the way that works for you. But the question is your most validating moment as an actor here. And it's okay if you feel it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened yet,
So what's the ideal validating moment going to look like?
Okay, so I don't think of awards as like, oh, Jen, win this award and that's a validating moment. I think just constantly being recommended for a role, right? That's a validating moment for me. Or doing an audition and booking the job. That's a validating moment for me. So if that's something that is constant, and then possibly having this job that I've done do an international round or get an international recognition or get an award, or and then if by chance, by the God of grace, that gets me a nomination for an award.
Grace of God.
Grace of God. God of grace. BOD. Out of body. So yeah, if that by chance gets me a nomination, that's beautiful. But I think that also again is a validation for like the people around me, because
for you, the question is for you. Please don't give us what they call it, award-winning answer.
But it's also valid. But I've said like my own personal validation, just getting jobs consistently, and being considered good, or being trusted to play a role. I think that's just such a great thing. Being trusted to play a role. It's like, oh, if you trust me to play a role, you see this.
But that's basically getting a job.
Yeah.
They've hired you for that.
Yes, and that's great.
Okay.
I think for my family members or whatever, I think that would be like getting a nomination or something. I think that would be, they would care about that.
Okay. This is a follow-up to the mental health discussion we had, because the creative life is largely about like waiting, patience, like having, like what you said, a year where you're not doing anything. So, and again, not going crazy in the process of waiting.
Right.
So how do you stay grounded?
So like a relationship with God is just like, it's important, and it's also like a very private thing for me. I'm an early bird, so I always start my days like quite early. Like I don't know, I messaged you like very early in the morning, like so random. Like so 4 a.m. and my church, they have this thing where it's like.
Sorry, what time do you sleep?
I sleep quite early as well.
Like.
I sleep quite early.
Like 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, yesterday apparently I slept around 8:30.
Goals?
Yeah. I slept at 8:30.
I would love to sleep at 8:30.
But it was. I think it was just so random. So when that happens, I'd wake up at 2, and then I'd be like a bat. It would be a bit weird. So yeah, my church has this thing, and they it's like a women's prayer group thing, and it's like once, probably like I'd say every day, but like with an exception of one day, but. That's a great platform for me to have conversations, and a great outlet to pray about stuff. And we pray about stuff that's individually going on in our lives. There's that, and then there's like family, and then there's like my friends, and then there's just like being able to have conversations about, because I deal with anxiety. I deal with quite a bit of anxiety. So if something is going on in my life, it's like so telling. You see on my face, on my body, like my body gives off quite a lot. So yes, I think that's it. God, family, friends.
Okay, very easy. 3 words. God, family, friends.
Thank you.
Do you see yourself sticking to acting only, or do you see yourself producing, directing, trying out different hats?
I think my friends always go, oh yeah, Jen, you'd make a good director. you'd be a good
think you'd
actor's
be a good
director.
producer.
And I think I'd be a good producer as well. But that's what I want to do.
Yeah, because you
I
have
think I want to
the
produce.
energy of someone that cares about. I mean, producers have to care about people, and you
Yes.
have that energy.
Yeah, I definitely want to produce.
Have you tried it already?
To the extent that I've been an associate producer for something.
On what project?
The Wives. The
Sounds
Wives 2019. It was a Lala Akindoju
Web series.
play.
Okay, play.
It was a play. So it was a play.
Is it the one
that went at
with
Muson?
Michelle Dede and...
No, it was
Okay.
more Kate Henshaw, Shafi Bello, Jide Kosoko. So it was working in that capacity. And I think I've been kind of privileged to experience some casting processes for like films or big films in Nollywood, and watching that process and thinking, yeah, I definitely want to produce, and I definitely want to produce stuff for young people, because we don't have, our demographic don't get the enough screen time. Yeah, we don't, and a lot of the stories are 30 plus and above. I know I was speaking to Chrissy. I was speaking to Chrissy about it, and it would be so good to just tell like young people's story, like, you know, casually, like just being at home with your friends,
like relatable
and everyone wakes up in the
stories.
morning
Yeah.
and was like, so what are we eating? Like, you know, all of those stuff and relatable stories.
Yeah, that's very important.
So that's one thing I'm working on. I'm working on that right now.
Nice. Can you spill?
It's early days. It's early days. So one thing I do want it to be is authentic. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be genuine. And because you know, having a conversation with my friend about it, you know, again, she's my partner. The goal is to just enjoy this thing. Yeah, to enjoy this thing and pay attention. I think our jobs as actors, we're constantly paying attention to people. Like I'm constantly paying attention to characters, and then I have this bag of characters, and I just put that little nuance and I put it in my bag. Yeah. And like now more than ever, it's really important to pay attention to the young people around, so that we just kind of see what we want to put, and you know, all of those things to make it relatable for people.
Nice, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, what are some projects? Oh God, I'm having a hard day. Well, we'll push through. Yeah. What are some of the projects like you wish you worked on internationally and Nollywoodly?
Okay, so this is a two-part question. Like one in
internationally. You can answer anyone you like. It's just a wide question.
That I wish I'd worked on. Yeah. That I got close to working on.
No.
Or what?
Like a project you watched, like Killing Eve now. That's a project I wish I wrote on. So for you, acted on.
Acted on. I'm a huge fan of like psychological thrillers. You know, female killings. Like so pretty much Killing Eve vibes, but like where females are leads. You know, take leadership and like are strong Black female leads. So I think I watched them recently. It's
heard of that.
It's horror. I saw
the I don't know reaction.
Yeah, I don't know if I enjoy you know, celebrating Black pain. I don't know.
Is it really that bad about Black pain? Because everybody's really like upset online.
Okay, episode 5 was wild. That's all I can say. Episode 5
How many
was
episodes?
Wild. 10.
Okay.
10, I believe it's 10 part. But yeah, episode 5 was just a bit much for me. But I like films where you can just, females are leading the show. It could either be just quite chill like Friends. It could either be quite chill like Big Bang Theory. It can be quite chill like that. Friends from College, I think that's a great series. It could either be quite chill like that, or it could just be action. Like, what's her name? Lashana.
Bond one?
Yes.
Okay,
yes. That's what I want. I mean, we have some projects like the Amazon Women coming. I think Ebony Life are trying to produce that.
Is it King Woman or Queen Woman?
Yeah, there's a few titles that sound really, really interesting. I think it would be great if, I see some young people in that, like myself.
Exactly, shoot your shot.
So yeah.
I think we've come to the end, right? Okay, so my final question is, how are you feeling about the future?
Positive. Yeah.
That's one word, please.
Okay. How am I feeling?
This is your final TED talk. We're wrapping it up. Like, give you a final TED talk.
Okay. I feel positive. I feel like one thing coming into this new age, I just recently turned 26. Yeah. So I think one thing that like I became aware of is that, you just kind of don't worry about the future, just pray about it. Honestly, and that sounds so, it sounds so,
like, sounds easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. But I think that's one thing that has kept me sane and kept my joy. Because if I have my joy, then that's like affects the people I'm around. So yeah, I think that's one thing, honestly, that I feel like just stay positive, do the things you want to do. Because sometimes you can stop yourself from creating content or being truly who you want to be because, oh, this is the industry. I'm not sure if they won't like it. They won't understand it. You know? And then what happens, I don't know, in my case, I feel like what happens is that I just then see the industry start moving in a direction that you probably thought of a year ago.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh.
And you hear compliments like, oh, you were ahead of your time. Oh my God.
Like, I should have. No. So it's like you're really original and you're beautiful in the way that you are. Show that your tribe will find you, and you're a human being. You're not a human doing. Like, just be.
Oh wow! Human being, not human doing. Okay.
Just be. So it's yeah. That's how I feel about it. Of course.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Fatimah.
Thank you so
honestly,
much for showing up. This was fun, I think.
It was. I hope this was good.
I hope so. I hope so.
Actors validation, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not that type of director. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kosi. Thank you, Kosi. Thank you, Kosi. Thank you, Kosi.